This year has been filled with many different leaks, from classified documents being found in former VPs and presidents' homes and offices. But one leak that many people seem to forget was the Discord leak from the Pentagon that showed exactly how easy it was for a 21-year-old airman to send out classified information to the public.
The Air National Guardsman accused of leaking U.S. military secrets pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to 6 federal counts of willful retention and transmission of classified information relating to national defense, according to a court filing. Jack Douglas Teixeira appeared in a federal court in Massachusetts for an arraignment after his arrest in April over the disclosure of U.S. documents related to the Ukraine war and numerous other sensitive issues. In a statement released after the arraignment, Teixeira's family said they, quote, "are hopeful Jack will be getting the fair and just treatment he deserves." Prosecutors say Teixeira leaked classified documents to a group of gamers on the messaging app Discord. The leak is considered the most serious U.S. national security breach since more than 700,000 documents, videos, and diplomatic cables appeared on the WikiLeaks website in 2010. President Joe Biden has ordered an investigation into why the alleged leaker had access to the sensitive information.
Yes, I've instructed the department to make sure that they get to the root of why he had access in the first place.
Teixeira has been held in federal prison in Plymouth County, south of Boston, while awaiting trial. No trial date has been set.
As a result, the Pentagon will now have new measures and policies that include appointing officers to control the level of access to top secret data and to also install systems that will detect electronic devices. The Pentagon's review also concluded that there's no single point of failure in their procedures, given that an overwhelming majority of staff that have access to these files comply with their policies. However, and of course, there's always a catch, right? They're now saying that it's recommended. Key term here, folks, it's recommended. Yep, so all those tax dollars that go to protecting our national security secrets, they're going to need some more of that so that they can create a whole new office and a new bureau and, you know, another ugly building. You know, all of these government buildings are so ugly looking. They kind of look like jails and prisons. Anyway, yeah, so they need all this to prevent and to scare away insider threats, as well as increase the number of staff that's overseeing the handling of our classified documents. Wow. So we're not just up against other countries and their spying methods like China. We're also going to need more money and personnel to protect our own data from our own people. Yeah. So what do you guys think about this possible new amount of spending? The House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is now requesting a briefing from the Secret Service regarding the bag of cocaine that was found in the White House.
The cocaine found there was actually discovered in a different location than we previously thought. Now the House Oversight Committee is requesting a briefing from the Secret Service on the investigation. News Nation's Blake Berman joins us live with the very latest on this one. Blake.
Hi there, Brooke. It seemed like just a matter of time, right, before Congress would get involved with this, and that is exactly what happened earlier today. As the head of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman James Comer, really been a thorn in the side for this White House. He has now asked the head of the U.S. Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, to brief staff on his committee on the details involving the discovery of that cocaine bag that was found inside the White House. Now we know in the West Wing lobby area.
Now, Comer says that this is an alarming instance and that they're going to need to assess what kind of security practices are actually being done at the West Wing so that they can actually find out whose failure it was that led to an evacuation of the building. Now, he also adds that it's a pretty shameful moment in the White House history that drugs were found under his administration. And just to set the facts right, President Joe Biden and his family, together with Hunter Biden, was at a presidential retreat in Camp David, Maryland, when this substance was found. Just putting it out there for you guys. The White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates was asked about this, and all he said was that you got to be careful of the Hatch Act. And as you would expect, this raised a lot of eyebrows, kind of like The Rock during his wrestling time. And so what is this Hatch Act? Well, according to the U.S. Office of Special Personnel, it's supposed to ensure that federal programs are administered in nonpartisan fashions and for it to protect federal employees from political coercion in the workplace and to ensure that the federal employees are advanced based on merit and not based on political affiliation. So wait, so how is this connected to drugs being found in the White House? Can any of you guys take a guess on this? Many analysts say that the more the president president avoids talking about this debacle, the more people will question his connection to it. Now, moving on overseas, the Dutch government is breaking down over an immigration policy as they failed to reach a decision on how to control the overwhelming stream of asylum seekers coming into the Netherlands. Now, this sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Prime Minister Mark Rutte's conservative VVD party's plan to separate refugee families and limit the number of migrants entering their country did not go well, as it could not be progressed further, leading to Rutte offering the resignation of the entire cabinet to the king. Now, I guess the United States isn't alone with its immigration issues. However, we're probably not going to see the resignations here at home, or at least I hope not. Now, many of us continue to have questions about the cognitive abilities of President Biden, given that he'll be well beyond 80 years old if he wins in 2024. That and, well, he's had a lot of public speaking gaffes that, I can't even begin to count. Senator John Kennedy has said that Americans are asking a lot of questions about it because he hasn't had as many public appearances and press conferences lately. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she was quick to defend the president by basically saying that he does take questions, especially when he's on the lawn of the White House and reporters are shouting at him and stuff like that. So basically, he's in front of the camera, he's talking. Does she mean the times when the president's about to board a helicopter, or the times when he usually just kind of skips by the media? Kennedy says that a lot of Americans believe that President Joe Biden cannot finish a sentence without taking a nap. And even though it's not fair, Kennedy insists that that's what many of us believe. Do you guys agree with him on that? And do you think that the White House is limiting the questions that the president takes on to avoid another viral moment? Now, on the topic of questions being answered, former Fox News host Tucker Carlson isn't mad at the network for firing him, although he's still not sure why he was removed in the first place. Now, in the first interview since the firing, Tucker Carlson gave it to comedian actor Russell Brand to talk about his experience with the network and even said that he wishes Fox well even after everything that's happened. I'd say that's being a good sport, right? Now, Tucker Carlson has found his own success with free speech on Twitter, where he continues to get millions of views. Now, speaking of popularity and the lack of it, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has finally spoken out about his presidential campaign that many are saying has underperformed so far, especially since it started taking off awfully with the Twitter Spaces launch, where Elon Musk and company couldn't get the video to even load. First thought of as a true contender to former President Donald Trump, DeSantis now sees himself down 29 points against Trump, with only 1 in 4 Republican voters actually supporting him. Back in March, the number was as high as 1 in 3. They're not swayed though, given that he's shown a lot of strength in fundraising. Now, his campaign press secretary also made it pretty clear that they're not running a sprint here. This is for the long haul, and the marathon doesn't end until next year. DeSantis also said that Trump has already spent more than $20 million just to attack him, which probably has had a huge effect on his numbers for now. On that note, let's move on to numbers for a second. Now, if somebody asked you about your weekly budget, you probably have a number in mind, right? What if somebody asked you about your budget for investments? Would you have a number? It's no mystery that we're getting closer and closer to a revolution with our economy, especially given that many opportunities are now revealing themselves in different markets and sectors. I mean, just look at real estate and the stock market. I get that many of you guys are working toward financial freedom, and if you'd let me, I'd like to give you guys a guiding hand. We could talk about investments. I'm talking about the stock market, real estate. We can also discuss how to possibly strengthen your cash flow through side hustles, small businesses, and even home-based businesses. All you got to do is drop some comments down below. Let me know if you guys are interested in this type of content. Now, before I go, guys, please take a second, drop a quick like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe.